Okay, so in front of me is a newer version. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, yes. All right, go ahead, Scott. What's your question?
Okay, so my first question is, it looks like when we make a call to the search, when we run the homework 6 search executable, we pass in the search clause .json.
Right.
And I was wondering if that JSON will just have the same string that was in the homework 6 client before it was.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah,
All right.
that's true. I mean, I just make it easier for us to test to separate, so you don't have to kind of modify the code just to program. Let me just show you what sorry. Let me just show you what it is. Okay, so to confirm what you just said. So this is a search class JSON. It has just like that. It's a keyword you can see here. It's just the keyword and then the ECF36B. Yeah. So the other change I made is that I didn't do that the first one, but in the test case, you see that now under ECF36B homework 6, that I have a two directory. One is called server, one is called client. So that's kind of because sometimes if you put client and server in the same directory, if you want to save the JSON file, that you're actually going to overwrite with each other. So that's why I create two subdirectory for you to, if you want to run on the same directory for your testing. If you're going to running on two different machines, wait a minute, even if you want two different machines, but both CSIF, you might still have the problem. So just creating two subdirectory, one is called server, one is called client, that prevents you have any kind of the file overwritten issue. Okay. All right. So here is okay. We're going back to homework 6 again. Any other question with the new modification?
Yes. So it says that some of the lines say the expected output from the client side is that a post.json is being created. Is that only being created if you scroll pretty down towards the bottom? Yeah, the expected output from client side right there. Post.json was created. I thought that the server would be creating the JSONs. Why would the client also be printing out that it was created? And is the client creating its own JSON, or is that just it echoing the server's output?
No. So this one for when the client do the update. So that's why I have a two function. When client do the update, client is not creating the JSON file. Okay, you see that from if you do the update, there's no, it's a return, but I didn't say you should create a JSON file, right? But here is actually you do a search, right? When you do a search, you're getting a JSON back. But when you're getting that JSON back, it might not be the one you had before. It might be somebody else put a JSON there. So in the search, we always create a file, create a local copy. That's why we say when you do a search, it's going to return an array of post JSON, and then you're going to create this file. Create for each JSON you receive from the search result, you actually create. This is like when you type a keyword to do Google search engine, and Google is returning a list of, say, URL. So your web browser is going to cache those URL in your local file system, so you can actually access to that after the search. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So each of the JSON posts in the array that gets returned by the server should be used by the client to create its own post.json files.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And then my one last question was regarding part 2.
Mm-hmm.
None of these test cases relate to part 2, right?
Yes, this is not a part two. You talk about the bonus credit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So for this one, I can use the same test cases. Okay. The client program, for example, I can you can use exactly the test cases, but I'm going to just turn off the server, and then when I turn on, then the rest of the things will still go. So basically, the first one is the client program. Either it's update or search, it will buffer the request. And then when this happens, when the return. So the same test cases can be used for this too, but when I um, exercise the test cases, I'm going to kill the server for a moment of time and then see if what's the response from the client. So that is for this. For this one, I haven't gave you the search clause, but it will be the search clause for this one will be submitted. And the thing is that the search clause, this too will be the search clause, but in other words, that you need to have a post that's actually matching those two search clause, which I haven't provided you the JSON, the post JSON that actually be able to match this particular one. For this one, it's okay. Update this one because it's already a JSON, which with this update. But for this one, because currently the version post that you have doesn't have the distance function, doesn't have the distance function. In my implementation for Homeware 7, not Homeware 8, but Homeware 7 and extended, I do have that. So then it basically involves adding location into the design of the post. So you need to do some extra work there.
Okay, that's no problem. So for when the server is offline and the client tries to connect, and the client uses the search, should it search the local copies of the post objects and also add that to sort of like a queue for when the server comes back online?
Okay, I didn't, that's a good point, Scott. I didn't define that scenario. I think I will allow you to decide what you think is the best things to do. So in other words, this is a bonus point. I would like you to, you can do either way or do both of them. Say, for example, I will imagine that if the server is down, I will basically post a error message saying that the server is down, but here is a cache I have. Please use the cache. That's one way to do it. And then after a while, because what you can do, the client can sleep for say 10 seconds and then try to reconnect with the server. If the server back up, you essentially redo that again, and then you get the new result. You post it. That's the second part you can do. But the third part, that's even more advanced, which is if you're interested, this is the kind of browser will do is that it will give the local copy, the cache copy, but then it will actually get a new copy after 10 seconds after the server is back, and it will compare the new copy and the old copy to see if there is any difference. And one way for our case to see if there is any difference is to look at the update time, because update time is supposed to show when was the last time this was updated. So therefore, if you compare the update time, if it's the same, then you just don't do anything. But if it's different, then you're going to show that this is so there is a lot of flexibility feature that you can do. So here I'm requesting is that you develop a solution that you can have the design to take care of the problem when the server is temporarily unavailable. And of course, in the make file, in the README file, you will document a little bit about how I'm going to run your program to see this feature.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
You're
I think
welcome.
that's all my questions.
Okay, thank you. No, that's an excellent question. I think for bonus part, I didn't show the demo yet, but probably I should show some. I mean, I don't want to show a demo for that, but I can show some perspective. Okay, any question? Let me take a look at my chat. So for Melissa, for homework 6, I changed the specification a little bit. Instead of using the string that, well, previously in my HW6 client program, I kind of embedded the string about the search clause in the source code. But this creates some problem when you want to try different kind of clause. This is not as friendly. So I made a change to the spec. I'm sorry for the late changes because this is actually the first time I assigned this sequence of homework. So now, as I show in the here, that the input argument is the search clause. Okay, I can just show you very quickly about what's going on here for those of you who are curious about what's going on. Let me do this very quickly. How do I get rid of this? Get rid of this. Okay, so this is a client. I'm going to get rid of this. Oh no, I don't want to get rid of the search clause JSON. And then I'm going to have another window. Okay, so I'm going to remove this as well. This was my previous run, I had that. So I'm going to do /HWA. By the way, wait a minute. /HW6 server. Okay, so I get my server running. So now I have two programs. I'm going to run, if I run /HW, by the way, in my version, I call it 7, but in your version is 6, okay? And I did something which is, what was the, wait a minute, I missed that already? Okay, so I need to enter the search clause. And then for my, okay, so I just want to explain that I'm in a different directory. So here is, I'm not really showing homework number 7, but it's the same as homework 6, but homework 6 just don't have these things, don't have this history part that I actually now integrated for the next one. So when okay, you can see that the server side is here, the client side is here. If I run the program, you can see that I'm actually doing that was a, wait a minute. That was a search, or what did I do? That was a search. How did I get this thing back? Yeah, I was doing a search. But how can I have all the JSON? I haven't actually say anything. That's interesting. Did I have a, oh, I must have a server running somewhere else. Sorry about that. Yeah, you see my server is here. I haven't actually get rid of my server. I'm sorry, that's embarrassing. Okay, now I think I need to run this again. I have to remove. Okay, now I'm happy. This is okay. This should be okay. Okay, I'm running the server and I'm running this. Okay, it's failed because I tried to search and there is no post there. The post is not available. So I'm going to update. Let's do base JSON base. Okay, when I do this, now you can see that it's returning this. But if you take a look at the server side actually got this, but the server side also create a file, looks like this here. Okay, so now we have this file in here. So now I can do search again. Now you see that I'm using the search clause, and this time it found it. Okay, and after I search, I actually create a file that I got this JSON back. That just from that. Okay, that's the things I want to show you. Okay, any question for what I just showed you for homework 6? Okay, I think let me go over the question. Emily. Emily, sometime I might miss some of the message, either email or messenger, but I will get back to you, but maybe I just delayed. But when did you send it to me? Okay, I'm going to wait until you send me other message. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about HW6 test.cpp. It was the test.cpp is I probably shouldn't leave it there. It was just a program for me to test my own program and see that it works without the client server side. So we always have the RPC call, but HW6 is I try to do some testing just locally. You can just neglect HW6 test. So, okay, what was the question? The update, if we are allowed to do this instead. Okay, this is the answer for Melissa. For the question, you say instead of putting a string, you want to put it into a JSON value. I think that will be okay with me, but I never try how that will work with JSON RPC because they're essentially equivalent. One is JSON value, one's a string. If you can get that to work, that's fine because you have both the client side and the server side. So you're not talking to the server, but you just have your own client server. So for that part, I'm okay with that if you can get that to work. Okay, but I personally, I thought when I'm doing RPC, everything, even if it's a JSON value, still have to convert it into a string before you can send it to the other side. Okay, that's just I haven't dig into that in that particular direction, but I'm okay. So the TA's email are actually in the syllabus. You can find their email from the syllabus. I already gave them the regret policy, just to let you know. I think we had some discussion yesterday. So you're getting a RC -5. I have to take a look. What is -5? that is a mismatching problem. I don't know whether it's a mismatching or some of the value is not. Or maybe, but wait a minute, that looks like it's a poor number. Check the poor number you're using. It looks like maybe it's a different port number. You're connecting to a different server. That's why you got RC minus 5. Hey, Thomas, go ahead. Thomas, are you?
I have like 3 questions on homework 6 that like are roadblocks for me currently.
Okay, so let me check, make sure I did. Am I still?
No,
Okay,
you're not.
yeah, go ahead. I'm recording, right? Good, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So basically, if somebody were to, let's say, take the base input JSON and send it into the server, and then the server updates it, puts it in its key, and then someone were to do that exact same move twice, should the file on the server side pretty much be double long, if that makes sense?
Yes, for homework 6, that I do not require you to kind of merge cleanly to remove any redundancy. So just append. So
Okay.
for homework 6 and homework 5, no problem. Yes, it will be double long. If you run 10 times, it will be 10 times bigger essentially.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then
That is a issue that you're welcome to. If you think you would like to handle it, you can actually add in that logic to remove the redundancy.
Okay. And then second, follow up onto that, I noticed that if you do that enough times and get your JSON to about 10,000 lines of code, your server crashes because it's afraid of something on the stack. Is that bad, or do we not have to worry about that?
So the server shouldn't crash
Once
unless
around like 9,000 lines, it gets there, and it goes, and it's like stack, something about it's worried about the stack, and it shuts down. And I looked it up. It was like an error code for JSON RPCs, like a library to make sure people don't like overflow you.
I see. So you're saying that the JSON is getting too big, and then it doesn't like it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't encountered that. So that's definitely a big limitation for me, because are you saying that if I have anything that's more than 9,000
Yeah, I'm
lines?
worried that your final's not going to work because the files are going to be too big. So you might want to look into that.
9,000 lines? I shouldn't.
I can show you it crash if you want.
Yeah, no, I know. I believe
Oh,
you.
okay.
I'm just saying that it's amazing that they actually have that. Okay, thank you for your for raising this issue. I will test it. I will
Okay.
test it, and I'll find a way to make sure that we don't get over that limit or whatever that limit is. Or maybe there's a way we can get rid of that limit. There should be a way to get rid of that limit, because JSON RPC has been used in so many different places, and I'm surprised if they cannot handle large chunk of information. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Excellent
And
point.
then keys for Johnson to post, I'm having trouble implementing it in a way that updates the key map, I guess. Because my understanding is that the search clause would check the key map, and the key map has as like a keyword that has a list of all posts that have such keyword. And so if you could access the key map with a specific key, you could get all the posts for that key. But
Right.
I'm having trouble updating the key map in JSON to post.
Okay, so you're trying to there are two sides. Of course, if you can use key map to get the pointer to the list of posts, then you're okay. But I guess what I'm guessing you have trouble in when you process one key, you need to insert that post to the list of posts under that particular key. Is that right?
Right, but like when I'm trying to do it, whenever I try to print out the post like as an error check inside of Johnson to post under the key section, I try to just print it out as soon as I throw the post in there. I get a segmentation fault. And so like I've dwindled it down. Like at first I got it just by calling it. And then I was like, okay, where exactly is it screwing up? And I get the segmentation fault when I'm trying to print the
Okay.
post,
Let me just
basically.
snip about what I did there. Okay.
For sure.
Let me just maybe show you just a few lines of code about that particular part. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Okay, this is my code under the JSON post.cpp. So this is the line I was doing. Is that similar to what you did?
I've got that line. Um, and then I got my pointer.
See, I let them push each other. It's like almost like a double linked list or something. So I
I
push
don't
one.
have that the third line, and instead of putting the star in front of O key pointer to posts, I left it and then put an arrow where your dot is for pushback.
Yeah, that should be the same,
That's
right?
fine, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that should be the same. Yeah, so I use this code to update my post pointer. Um, um, the only thing I haven't done, okay, let me tell you that the only thing I haven't done, this part will work at least if the my post pointer is in memory. So right now in our system, really there are, to make it your homework 3 more complicated. In fact, we have a 3 different possibility for where the object is. So in homework 3, you have what we call shadow object and real object. But here we have 3. One is a real object in memory, but there is a shadow object remote, but there is also another shadow, which is your file. So I haven't implemented that part yet, but suppose when I push, I'm actually trying to push, make sure that's a shadow that's either remote or is in file or local memory. So that part I haven't done. But this part of the code, assuming is in memory, I have been tested for about a week and maybe more than a week, and I haven't encountered any segmentation fault.
So we don't need to account for the shadow objects either, or should we take that
No,
into our?
you don't need to worry about shadow object for this homework. You just use RPC.
Gotcha.
Don't use shadow, because I think, I mean, shadow object will be another nice thing to add after you're done with ECF36B. If you want to use it to build your own distributed IoT object-oriented system, that you can do that. In fact, that's what I'm trying to build, using this framework to build a more extended project on top of this. But for homework 6 and homework 7, at least you should make sure you don't get that segmentation fault.
Okay.
So this is a line for you and others to see if you have trouble, how to update the key, that this is the key that you can. This is
Gotcha.
the lines of code I can
Can
do.
you explain that third part where it says my post pointer keys pushback OK pointer? So
You mean
you
this
on the
one?
no,
This
the one
one?
right below it.
Okay, so this is a post, because in the post I have a bunch of key, right? So let me just say what it is. This is JSON. So let me get the key out so you know what I'm talking about. Do I have the key here somewhere? I thought I have the key. Oh, here. You see, I have a 3 key, right? I have a key for this
Right.
3 key. So essentially that, so this is in my C++ object, I have an attribute called keys. That's this line is. So I basically, for each of the keyword, I create a OKey pointer. So for each of the key, I create a key object, the OKey object. And I basically, this key is a vector of a number of this OKey object. So this pushback is just building up this key content. This is similar to say, I build up my vector of reaction or the vector of comments. So this is just build up the key. This line is you have it for every single section. This line. I mean, for
Okay.
example, let's actually just go up a little bit, go to the reaction part, sorry. Let me do this. Okay, in the reaction part, you see that I also have the same thing here at the end. So this line is equivalent for the reaction part. I just push back this reaction pointer I just created
Right. Okay.
into this reaction vector. So this one is standard for all section, but this line is a special for key because I want to build up the key map. So
Okay.
whenever I search the key, I will have that post pointer. So I'm push back. So they're basically push back each other. I mean, I push the post to the key and push the key to the post.
Okay. I noticed that you didn't check in your keys if the keys were null first,
I
like
check
before
it
your
here.
for.
I check here. Yeah.
No, but in the actual MyV.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I think that's okay.
I
So
noticed in your
no, you're right. You're right. I should check. Let me see. What did I check? Hold on. Okay. I was very careful about this. I want to go over this very carefully. So this is the code I have. The first thing I check is my
Oh,
V
it's
is
up
the
there.
key is null, right? First, if it's
Mhm.
null, I'm out of here immediately. Then I check whether if it's not null, then I can check for count, right? If this
Right.
both are true, then I check the keys whether they are null, and then I create. If it's null, I create it, and then I go in here. So before I reach here, I should already have my V key count or data not null. So that's I checked earlier. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
And then I have a question about new. Can you do it pretty much anywhere and then it becomes part of the heap?
Yes, you can do anywhere.
So it doesn't
New
matter
is
if it's like in like a fifth if loop or if statement like down the line.
you can
Okay.
do it everywhere, but just be careful about um, the scope of the variable, because the scope of the variable, if you go to deep down in the fifth level, that this variable, whether it will disappear somewhere, you have to be careful. But the memory is okay because the memory is not on the stack, because the scoping is really allocating. If it's a local variable, is actually the scope will actually be like, if you out of the scope, that memory might be gone if it's on the stack. But new is actually on the heap, so you can actually allocate memory as long as you remember the pointer. You're okay.
Gotcha. And then finally, uh when we're merging, do we have to consider if the person's going to update the message or the created time or is published, or are those presumably things that cannot be updated?
Yeah, I in my code I check for update time. And so I actually compare the update time and I update the update time. And I think in the test program we didn't actually have the two test programs I provide. We didn't check for that because you're the only one who actually updated. So therefore, your update time when it come back should be the same. But on the other hand, you can imagine if you have, so for homework 6, we're not going to check on that. But for homework 7, when you have multiple people update, you want to see which one is the newest update. Or for your the bonus part that you might need to check the update time as well. So I should say that for the basic portion of homework 6, you don't need to worry about that, but it should be done.
Got you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other question for me? Let me just go back to here.
Hi, Professor.
Yes.
I was trying to do the small program the other day, and I was like trying to connect it, and it shows me like all done the program, but I haven't done it.
Yeah, let me just announce to everybody. I noticed that problem. You're not the one. I tried different VSID, and some of the VSID have that problem. Some VSID doesn't have that problem, and I don't know why. I'm actually checking on that myself, especially since to some of the students stuck as 13-01. Were you the last one was 13-01 for you?
I haven't really started. I just like do a couple, like 1 or 2.
If you're doing 1 or 2, you shouldn't have that problem. It's actually, it will allow you to go to a certain point, but but I need to check. I need to continue to debug that part, and then I will get
because
back
I'm not able to do like any other program now. I'm not able to request any.
Yeah. Okay. Let me handle that. I haven't been able to resolve the last issue. I got complaint from some of the students about the same issue, but they're right now seems to be 13-01 is the one that everybody's stuck on. But it's interesting. I have another VSID. I create a new, and then I started everything from the first to the end, and it went through. It's just very strange bug that I have to look at my server. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me take a look. Yes, this is the last homework, but there is a final exam, which is homework 7. Okay, but it's final. It's like, but that was a special homework. Okay. I actually testing homework 7 already. I think I'm almost ready to release. You can see that when I show you the demo, I was already running homework 8 right now. The homework 8 is not for you, but just homework 7, I moved to the next step, then it become homework 8. Okay, so Luis, for the update version is no longer we call the homework 6 client.cpp. I kind of split into homework 6 update.cpp and homework 6 search.cpp. They're essentially duplicate like a homework 6 client, but they're each of them handle one function. We will get you homework 7 as soon as possible, but that was the final for Samir. Small program. I think 1401 should be in 1409 is the last one, but I think if I think 1401 should be enough for the full credit already, because I'm taking up to 20 of them. I will send out all the JSON, upload the link for base input 1, base input 2, and as well as all the update one, that link, then you can download that. Yeah, I will try to make some kind of Zoom video for homework 7 as well.
Professor, I have a
Yes.
couple of questions.
Go ahead.
So you said earlier that we don't need a homework 6 test, or do we need one?
No, homework 6 test. Let me see. Why did I put it there? I mean, let me just check. I thought I shouldn't include. I shouldn't have include that in the reference implementation, but I could have by mistake. I leave it there. Okay.
Because I did see it in the make file, and I was
I see. Sorry, I removed it, but I forgot to update the make file. Yes, I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
So just now I know why you guys are asking that question. But let me tell you that what you can do to get rid of that. So can you see my screen now? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So what you should do in this case, just get rid of this word. So,
because I thought that you wanted it, so I did implement code, and I was wondering if you wanted us to go to the server, or
it should be eventually. It should be like this. You have to make a modification of the file anyway. It should be HW6 server, HW6 update, HW6 search. Those 3 things. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And then also, I had an error saying that I couldn't connect to the local host on my side, and I was wondering, because I did have an error like that before, but I was wondering like what the issue was exactly.
Okay. Have you run the server already?
Yes.
And on the same machine, right?
Yes.
And you can, what environment you're using? Using a Windows or CSIF or Mac?
I'm using CSIF. I was trying to do it on the server itself.
And you are logged into CSIF with the same host?
Yes, everything was the same that I usually do it as. I could try it because I do have.
You know what happened? I have to try that, or we can let you share your screen. What I'm afraid is that CSIF is a virtualization. So what happened is with CSIF, whenever you log in to one of the CSIF machine, they randomly assign you to one of the machine. So which means that this 2 machine might not be on the same window. I assume you use SSH.
Yes, I do.
2 SSH going in. And that might cause problem if you use localhost. But you observed this before, right?
Yeah, I have seen it before, but I'm not sure if I solved it by just doing it on like my Mac or my Windows without
doing. If you use Mac and Windows, this problem shouldn't be there. But the other things you can do, let me actually tell you another thing you can do. Okay, to make sure you don't have this problem. So here is my server, right? I'm going to kill my. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. So in any of the machine that you can do a command called ifconfig -a. Okay, ifconfig -a will give you an IP address of your true IP address. On this machine, my IP address is this one. 192. So you should have when you go to CSIF, try to find your INET address.
Okay.
It could be something which is like this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this address. And once I have it, I'm going to do my, I think I'm going to do my HW7 update.cpp. Okay, so this is my update program. And where's my IP address? Ah, here. So instead of say localhost, right? I'm going to shuffle in with that IP address. Okay, so now you see instead of saying localhost, I'm actually doing this. And now I'm going to try to compile. And just try to see if it will work. So now I go to server. Now I run my server. Now I'm going to run my client. Oh, no, this is not my client. Okay, I'm going to do HW7 update. Now I can still get it. You see that I'm not using localhost, I can get to that. If you can find the IP address, replace that localhost with that true IP address, it works equally well.
Okay, sounds good. And then you just said earlier that you're working on the small program assignments. I was getting an error with 1401. So
okay, so it seems to be all the 01, 1301, 1401, they all have problems. So let me check on this. That could be a good tip, and maybe there's something to do with when you switch a chapter that the program didn't handle correctly.
That might be it.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me check. So for Alexis, yes, we're I suggest you separate the client into update and search, and such that it's easier for you to run the program. For Changhan, you are asking about post map. Can we get a post pointer from the post map? Yes, you can get a post pointer from the post map as well. So post map is a vector of the is a map which is a key vector of all the posts you have. So I use post map mainly to check whether this ID is available. So I'm using this. If you have this in memory, so I'm using post map to validate whether this ID is actually in the memory. If it's not, then I go to the file system to bring it in. Okay. Okay. So let me show you a very simple example. Alexis, you're talking about separating client update, right? So let me actually tell you why I did this. So this was my client.cpp. Just show you this. This is my client.cpp. So everything is the same pretty much from the beginning. But at the end, I was sometimes I need to do update. Sometimes I want to need to do post. So what I was doing pretty ugly and is this. I have one piece of code. This piece of code was doing the update. Okay, this piece of code I was doing the update. You can see that my client the update. And this piece of code I was doing search. So I kind of have a two block of code that I need to arrange their sequence. So sometimes if I only want to do search, so you can see here I use this include ifdef to actually hide this code from the compiler. So essentially, when I did the development, I mean, this is kind of hacking. So I was doing this back and forth, modify the source code so it will generate different kind of sequence. It's kind of inconvenient. So what I did is I split this into two. One is called HW6 update, which only have this part, the first part. And the other one that's HW6 search, which only have the second part. Of course, because if I'm doing this, I don't want to hard code this search clause. And that's why I actually introduce extra argument for me to import the search keyword. Okay, so that was the reason why I said you split this into two. It might be easier for you to do the testing. Is that sounds good, Alexis? Yes, you can take this class, pass or not pass, but you have to let me know, or you have to let somebody know in the registration office by, I think, June 4th. Search class.json. Sorry. I will post the link for the search JSON, but it's really simple. If you think about this example here, it's just this word that you can put it in. Okay, it's a file with that string. Okay, that's JSON. That's what I have. Okay. Did you see that? Did I share my screen? Maybe I didn't share my screen. Sorry. So Jason, to answer your question, that I will share the file on the directory, but this is just this file. It's just the string, using the string here. Okay. All right. Let me see. Chonghan, you don't, for postmap, you don't need a key to access there are two ways you can access to the post pointer. Let me actually say this, is that you can use the key. The key in postmap, in fact, is not the O key. The key in the postmap is the ID of the post, is the ID field. If you follow my logic about postmap. But postmap, nevertheless, any map is still an array. So if it's an array, you can always go to the postmap name bracket 0, you get the first element, the first pointer or second pointer, you can use that index as well. Okay, you can use that index to get to that. Manual, it is correct. However, I add a little bit, like the one extra argument. Instead of getting it from the inside, I just take the things from outside. So they're actually, you're right, they're almost identical, except the last part. Yes, you can use, Chonghan, you can use the index. Okay, Arnett, let me take a look at that. Okay, for those of you who have problem, I think for the small program, what the best way for you is send me your VS ID, because I can actually use your VS ID to dig into the problem to see why you're observing something I didn't. Okay. So small program due next Friday, not this coming Friday, but next Friday. Okay, what is the history part about the JSON post.cpp? Julia, I know. Okay, Julia, let me share the screen. That was actually for homework 7. Okay, but yesterday I left it there. But let me check if I have that redacted version here. Okay, if you see this part, right, Julia, you actually see this part, history. So just neglect that. You can just get rid of that. Don't worry about history right now. That is for homework 7. So you don't need to worry about that. Yeah, the small program due next Friday. I think next Friday will be June 12th. No, there will be no, no, right now I'm not planning to assign any extra homework after that. But maybe the summer, when I have time, I will actually add the rest of them there. But you can pretty much run the program yourself from the book as well. Any other question? Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I have some appointment coming up at 3 o'clock, also 3:30. So if you want to make appointment with me individually, please let me know, send me a message. I already arranged 3 or 4 this afternoon, but I can probably shuffle in a couple others. What I'm going to do, I'm going to end this call and then upload the Zoom video so you can see the discussion and the screenshot and those kind of things. Okay? All right. All right. Bye. Thank you. Talk to you later.